What's up? Black men can't let women and ego be their weakness. Now, you are a black man trying to self improve and gain a grounded identity in being a black man. I have a deep dive guide on all the things of learning to look up to in black history, eating healthier, having a more calisthenics based workout, becoming more financially literate, and also learning to come together with other black men on a week to week basis to self improve and gain a grounded identity in being a black man. If you're interested in that, the link for that will be in the bio section of my YouTube channel. Just click on my channel, you'll see the link right there in the bio section. Click on that, internalize that, and become the strongest version of yourself as a black man. Now, when I dive into black men and how their ego, a black man's ego, and women can be their weakness, oftentimes I see a lot of the times with a black man that has a super big ego. I don't think it's bad to have a little bit of an ego or have a lot of confidence, but I think there is a time in life, not a time in life. I think there is a mentality that you can be in that can hurt you when you think that you don't need anybody, when you think that you're above people, when you think that you're superior to people, right? I've came across a lot of older black men who would have this mindset of, oh, you're young, you don't know. You're this, you don't know, right? And even a lot of younger men who have a huge ego too, you start to see that a lot of those type of people have kind of holes in their character where they have to throw up, they have to fake stuff. They can't genuinely be themselves. They have to constantly, like, I've had experiences with a lot of black men where they have to maintain their ego in front of people. They have to always act like they're better than the next guy in front of people, right? It's the same concept, and I think that a lot of people don't understand how deep that really goes, because this is why a lot of black men can't be a good leader, because they have an ego. They want to be worshipped. They want people to they want people to, be on their hands and knees for them, right? And I feel as though that's one of the reasons why the black community can't have a organized movement, a organized coming together of black men where we actually self-improve, actually get stuff done, because too many of us focus on being that one guy or being the chosen one. I don't like when people say, oh, I'm the chosen one, we chosen ones, and I don't think that's going to help, especially when it comes to like actually being a good leader. And when we dive into women, right, I think that there's a overwhelming amount of black men who a woman is their weakness. Sex is their weakness, right? They'll do anything for a woman. You know, um, they'll lose themselves for a woman, right? Or they lose themselves by focusing on a woman too much, right? And I think I don't want to get away like, okay, woman is bad or anything, but I think that it's just so many black men, their weakness is that, right? They fill their whole life up with that, and they have nothing else to show for their life other than, uh, you know, a whole bunch of baby mamas. And I'm not against procreating and having kids. I'm all for that, right? But you have to look at your entire life. Your entire life shouldn't just be made up of if you reproduced, if you had kids or not, right? And I think it's a lot of black men. That's all they got to offer with their life. Like that's the only thing they really did consistently, and they were constantly putting effort into that. You get what I'm saying? So just understand the things that can tear you down when you're going up in life, right? And especially if you're not just looking at your individual life, you're looking at, okay, I want to have a family one day. I want to be I want to lead my community. I want to lead the society one day, right? You have to get sat outside of your own ego, get outside of looking good, right? And I think that there's so many times where it's hard for us to even come together. And I've said this before, a lot of black men can't even come together because we got egos, we're insecure, we want to look like the top dog even though we're not, right? So we have to embrace working together, because when we have an ego, we cannot work together. When we have an ego, we kind of isolate ourselves, right? And I've been in that position myself where I feel like my ego was too high with certain things. I act like I couldn't give a person a conversation. I act like I couldn't talk. I act like I couldn't, treat that person with just regular decency. I think a lot of the times you're going to experience that. You're going to experience that in like immature environments, like when you're in high school and there's popular kids, there's cool kids, and then there's kids that's not cool, and there's X, Y, and Z. Like you're in environments where you got to play the popularity game. You got to play the game of, oh, I got to be cool, right? And it's sad because even after high school, you see this game being played, even in your hometown or wherever you might be. People try to play that game because life is serious, so they have to go back into that realm of, oh, it's all about if you cool and you got a lot of friends, and it's you have to go back to a level of life where you are cool because that's the only way you can actually be cool, right? Through something like, very trivial, like a metric of like if you're good in life or if you're doing good in life, you have to like just put up images, and then it's very like high schoolery, like you have to kind of go back to that realm if you want to be considered cool, because in the real world you got to put in work. In the real world you have to actually do something with your life, right? And that's what ego, a lot of times when we start to look at ego, it's not even that a lot of these guys with egos are like super successful and hardworking people. A lot of men, black men with egos, are men that they care a lot about looking a certain way, so they have to constantly put others down. They have to constantly get away from people who are doing better than them, right? And they have to isolate themselves, and they have to kind of uh put up an image of them like they're cool and they're doing all this, when that's sad, because if you can just be real and be confident in who you are, you never have to do any of those things, right? But because you don't like people seeing naturally who you are, that's when you develop an ego. You develop, oh, I'm just better than everybody for no reason, and they do that so that they don't have to show people like what they actually are, because if people actually see what they actually are, you know, you start to see that a lot of that stuff be a facade. And I think I've been around a lot of guys, a lot of black men that were just like that. And so I understand how that could be a downfall, and how that is a gateway to just a negative person, a negative personality, a person that's stuck up, right? Nobody likes being around anybody that's stuck up, not a woman, not a man. Nobody likes being around people who are stuck up and people who feel like they're higher than what they are, and they're higher than somebody else, right? And I think, yeah, there are people who are higher in life, but I think that that has to be proven through like the actions. That's not proven through just word of mouth and what you say, right? And anybody who recognizes and acknowledges, uh, oh, I'm just better than everybody, and I gotta like, when they kind of dig into it where they have to put others down, that's where you get to a place where I think you see a lot of black men, that's where they are, because it's insecurities. And it's not, and when I say insecurities, I really mean they can't naturally be confident where they at in life. They naturally feel bad about themselves, right? So that's pretty much all I got to say, man. Peace out.